That would be me.
Look who we're hanging with.
Jason David Frank.
Boom shakalaka.
Please do not change channel.
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thank you so much for logging on and tuning in. You've made our day. Both of us. You made his like century. It's been here since 1947. It's the best day he's had so far, and it's you. You did that. We hope you'll do it some more. We want you to hit subscribe. We want you to come back over and over again. We want you to see some authors, filmmakers, artists, musicians, aliens. We got it all, man. This is the Hangin With Web Show. We're here right now with Mike Fern from Brothers of Alien Rock, and this is Infernal Being.
Greetings, GW. Thank you for having us here.
Man, thank you so much.
You guys, you are an awesome blessing to this community as a whole. I mean, we've been all throughout the galaxy, and whenever I see behavior like this from you guys, the way you're spreading this news out about the artistry community, it blossoms into huge things. I've seen it. I've seen it all over the galaxy. You guys got it. We love Hangin With Web Show, man. Love it.
Is there anything better than that? When you have sunshine blowing up your ass first thing in the morning by an alien, you're on fire, baby. That's right. No, man, it's awesome. We love what we do. We love doing it with you. We want to tell them about Brothers of Alien Rock.
Awesome, awesome.
Now, I'm not that old, obviously.
You're chicken, man.
23 next
Yep,
week. You know,
gotcha.
it'll be all right.
I started drinking. Yep.
So, but in my career, I've seen a lot of entertainment acts. I've seen a lot of bands. I've seen a lot of people come and go. You guys have got one of the most unique presences, and it's more than just the music. It's an all-out performance. We caught you last night at the after party for a little while. We've seen you before.
Yeah, sure.
We were all at Sci-Fi Bar together watching.
That's right. That's correct. Yeah.
What inspired this? How it's hard to perform, and you guys are not like the local coffee shop sitarists.
Right,
Okay,
right.
You guys are bringing it, and you're bringing it in full
regalia,
man. Right down to the space jumpsuits and everything.
Yeah, I didn't have those today, but
14 minutes on this set, I'm sweating. You guys are doing like hour sets.
yeah, hours and hours. All day yesterday.
You're
All
sitting
Saturday.
around one day and you said to the guys, the music is great. Let's go out and get some alien gear. That'll be fun.
Well, I tell you, to be completely honest, there's a dichotomy here. There's two stories here. One is from hopefully you can cut that's stumbling out.
Never.
Yeah, never.
That's the best part, man.
Two-part story. One part is from the viewpoint of Mike Fern, the roadie, who is, as aliens, we were designated one roadie each. So me as Infernal Being, I was designated with Mike Fern. Anyways, we have one story. Yeah, right, one story there. And we have the Brothers of Alien Rock story, how they came to meet each other. The Mike Fern story is when we started the band, it was really just two guys, and it was just two guys. And at that point in their careers, speaking as Mike Fern, it was tough because we're coming around a point with music where it's either there's so much focus put on your image, and I was thinking at that time, well, the focus, I didn't really want to be on me. I wanted to be on the music. That was the whole idea. It really was in the beginning, and it wasn't this. It was just something very simple. It was like
something to take Mike out of it and insert the music.
Yeah, I didn't want any extra stuff. In fact, the first show we had drummer Dave, who was Elite Craft. He had just a shirt that said drummer on it, a little mask, a little tiny, kind of a masquerade thing. I had guitarist and then bassist on the back because I had my, it was just us two. Oh, you ready to speak?
Oh, you're good.
And I had one jack going onto a bass rig, another jack going to a guitar rig, so I had the full like kind of local H royal blood kind of deal.
Do you play with?
I can. It takes a little bit, but lately we haven't been able to do that.
Yeah.
we kind of morphed. The atmosphere does wonders for us, and we kind of start looking more like your hands.
Yeah,
it's amazing. But anyways, that started with about really taking the emphasis of the face of the Hooper thing and just putting on the music. But then over time, it morphed and became, I don't know. It wasn't like, guys, this is what we're doing. It's just kind of morphed over like a couple of years.
We don't think about it often, but a musician at his core, like the rest of us in the arts, is a storyteller.
Right.
Whether you're telling your story through the song or through the performance,
correct,
you're still a storyteller.
That's right.
Which one of you guys has got the warped imagination that said, okay, we're telling a story and we want to take out our faces, but the story we're going to tell is going to be the story of Inferno Being and his crew.
Yeah.
That's incredibly creative.
Well, thank you. And I'll tell you where that all came from. For me as a child, I've always been, Star Wars blew it out for me, like a lot of us here, but I was there, very young, standing in line for miles, those lines were for the first Star Wars movie. And it just kind of kept steamrolling from there. And my father was a huge influence on me. He was also an actor. He did many things, but he really loved the arts. And he was all into film, and I shot things with him. He wrote stories also. That's really where I get it from. And I really was engrossed with that when I was a child, all the way up to now. That's the storytelling part of it. The other part of it is I grow to love to research things too. And in researching otherworldly things, it's kind of like you have sci-fi, and then it kind of splinters off.
The beautiful thing about this community, the science fiction community, is you have sci-fi and sci-fact.
Yeah.
And these things, they're not on parallel courses, but it's kind of like a sound wave. It's up and they just diverge and then they come back together.
That's correct, yeah.
And in the research,
influences the art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes vice versa. But yeah, so that was kind of where, personally, where that all kind of comes from. But the story did grow into the idea of this is, you mentioned Roswell, 1947. The idea behind this would be, I think we have a note over here.
She does that. We just ignore her most of the time. If I start listening to them once, then I have to listen to them all the time.
Well, oh my God.
Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna let him. We want to know the rest of it.
Yeah, let me finish that story. I love that. That's cool.
We talked about Inferno, Mike Fern as Journey, but you created a story.
Right.
And when you created that story, you created the story of Inferno Being and his crew.
Right.
And tell us that story.
Here's the deal. The funny thing, off camera, we see something about the cantina she was asking about.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, the reason why, if anybody's familiar with Roswell in 1947, there was a famous UFO crash there. The government there said, we found a flying saucer, straight up in a newspaper. Hours later, they changed the story and said it was a weather balloon. So that's what's kind of sparked the folklore over the 7 decades at this point. So, now what happened before that, here's the fun story, is that we were with a bunch of other aliens, and some alien rock bands. There are actually, in Orlando, other alien rock bands, like the Killer Robots from Outer Space,
yes,
Moonmen from Mars. Last year, we had an alien summit, the little mini-con thing.
I remember that. That's right. South Florida, yeah.
That's right, and now it commemorated the 70th anniversary of Roswell, the crash. So those guys, there's Kitchen Killers on the side.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Dirty.
Oh, man.
Beauty. Love these guys. Love them. To death.
Hey guys, we're rocking it out here. We're hanging with Brothers of Alien Rock, repping out the Kitchen Killers here. Look, if y'all been watching the show for 3.5 years, y'all will know I have never not worn a button-down shirt. Ever. Until today.
But it's so fresh.
Because I was too exhausted to button a shirt, and it was Billy's fault.
So the reason we met there's a place of convergence that happened. It's called the planet Cantina, because that planet is just one bar. The entire planet is a bar.
I know guys that would kill for that planet.
Amazing. So we were hanging with there. That's where one of the Greys, because the Greys are kind of a sketchy bunch. They booze it up. They're doing all sorts of stuff. The shots were thrown. Somebody said about somebody's mother. And anyways, they ran off, stole a ship, ran off with one of the saucers, and one of the guys said to me, "God, we got to get those guys." So basically, 3 saucers left Cantina, ended up crashing through the wormhole, went to Roswell. 3 points of contact happened. This is where the fact mixes in. 3 points of contact in Roswell. There were 3 crash landings that happened. 2 of them were recovered by the government, never talked about, sort of. And the other one was the 3rd one, actually in Corona, which is a little bit northwest of Roswell, 40 miles. We skipped, dropped a little bit of debris, and our ship crashed. And the only thing we had left were our clothes and our guitars and our backs. That's the only thing we had left.
I like it. I like it. I've always suspected not for 70 years because I'm not that old. Stop.
I got you by hundreds, man.
I've always suspected that Mac Brazel's ranch was not an accident. I mean, he's got a big spread there. It's a perfect place for a concert.
It is. It's huge.
I think that, maybe the landing went wrong, but you picked a good, Mac Brazel's ranch is a pretty good spread.
It's a nice spot, yeah. I forget how many acres it actually is. There's more to that story too. I have to skip, we'll get to, which is some awesome stuff coming up, man. Awesome. What happened next is interesting. The next 7 decades, we roamed the earth kind of like under the radar, and we found to be very early, at about 47, 48, 49, we discovered that there was a movement happening, and it was rock and roll. And we said, you know what? I feel a passion here. I see a fire in the kids' eyes. We want a part of this. So what we did is we went to the biggest of the day. Elvis was at the time, and there was Buddy Holly. And we basically sought all them out. Eventually became Zeppelin. It was Black Sabbath. It was Van Halen. It was Nirvana. All these guys, we wrote with all these guys, wrote songs with them, helped them out. We're kind of producers. However, it got to be about 5 years ago, we said, you know what? We like doing that, but maybe it's time for us to bust out with our own music. So what we did, we said, we're now going to ascend up from the underground, and we're going to start putting out music.
Where can Earthlings see the Brothers of Alien Rock coming up? Where are you guys going from here? I know MegaCon is just, you fly over real quick, do a flyby. Where are you going to be performing the full-on show? Where are you going next?
The full-on show next. Well, here's what's happening. This was a brief stop. We had such a great time playing. We had a huge party Friday night. Again, a lot of Kitchen Killer stuff. Everybody, we were all there hanging out. The after party of MegaCon was last night.
I think many people don't know it. Actually, the Kitchen Killers, who y'all are familiar with from the show a lot, they got Billy was actually abducted.
Oh,
and so he was returned with Jay buck naked in the kitchen one night. And so after that, they had to have a reason that they were stuck in the kitchen with guitars buck naked. So they started playing music. So these guys actually did something. Well, we had experience.
We did insert that, and we could cut to that Friday night experience because we picked the perfect time to do a Friday night MegaCon. Dropped in, we took time from them. We played around, scrambled their brains a little bit. Those guys need very little scrambling, and they got it going on. So,
we've been saying for years those guys were scrambled.
Scrambled eggs.
You cannot do that, but all right, fine. So we need to tell them where you're going to be.
Okay,
she's going to tell us to shut up because she's rude.
Right. So here's the deal. So I just wanted to set that up because part of the reason here now is that we're on our way to Roswell again. We crashed there 71 years ago. It's now time that we have 2 records out. One that came out in 2013, Landing, and this last recent record, We Come From Outer Space, came out last year, and now it's time for us to return home. So our next gig is going to be at the biggest UFO festival on the entire planet in Roswell, New Mexico.
You're going to AlienCon?
No, Roswell, yeah.
Yeah, the anniversary.
AlienCon's in June.
In June, that's right.
Next year, they're talking next year, there's going to be, it's all,
Wow, it's on.
We're talking.
You got to go to Roswell, check these guys out, man. We're going to say thank you to our partners and friends at Something Unique Magazine, Asylum Convention Entertainment Services, Space Coast Comics, Off the Chain Radio with author Yvonne Mason, Krypton Radio, who's airing every week right now, the Hangin' With Web Show Radio Hour.
Awesome.
And we are getting ready to debut the Hangin' With Web Show Indie Music Spotlight. Check that out coming down the road. Famous Faces and Funnies. Rick Shea and the guys at Famous Faces and Funnies been with us since day one, helping us out. And the guys over at Some Unique Magazine, those guys share our videos. They've shared our videos for 3 years. When I had 2 subscribers, Some Unique Magazine, they were one of them.
Right at the base.
So that's right. So we say thank you to all of them. We have been here hanging with the brothers of Alien Rock's Inferno Being, aka the amazing Mike Fern. You want to check these guys out online, find their music, find their albums, and get your tickets to Roswell.
Dude, I'm telling you, and here's the thing. Part of that thing with Roswell, it's hashtag Road to Roswell because it's going to be an Indiegogo campaign to be a part of the journey. So
you can be a part of it. Sign up down there at Indiegogo. Put the links down below. Remember, everybody, subscribe, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.
Good. Thanks, brother. Awesome.
Thank you.